Michelle Pfeiffer is here. 25 years ago, she was studying to be a stenographer when she won the Miss Orange County Beauty Contest. Today, she is a three-time Oscar nominee and has starred in such films as Dangerous Liaisons, The Fabulous Baker Boys, and The Age of Innocence. Here is a brief look at her career.
You make it so easy, don't you? Always waiting for some bad man to save you. I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
You know the demo tape I sent you?
Yeah.
I faked it. I didn't do any of those things I said I did. I went to East Reno Community College at night. I wasn't valedictorian. I didn't even graduate. I faked the whole graduation. I rented a cap and gown. I did the camera myself. I even threw the confetti.
I can't help but feel that somehow you're trying to sabotage me. You're trying to hurt me somehow.
Norman, this isn't about you. Something is happening to me. And it's not to get even, and it's not some warped bid for attention. Something is happening in our house, whether you like it or not.
You know, I really can't stand it, those people who blame their worst traits on everyone but themselves. It's so 90s.
Oh, good. What are you talking about?
You're blaming your Peter Pan complex on your mother. The one you're so proud of.
Friends.
I don't have time for friends.
That's because of your Captain Hook complex.
Thought you were weird. I didn't know you were cruel.
I'm sorry.
It's just a cruelty just waiting to happen again, and I don't want to be there when it does. Just get out. I want you to go.
Why do you want me to go? I mean, really, why do you want me
I want to be alone. I want to watch my VCR. I want to eat ice cream. I want to go to sleep.
You were horrid. You kissed me once behind a door, but it was your cousin Vandy, the one who never looked at me, I was in love with.
Yes, you have been away a very long time.
Oh, centuries and centuries. So long, I'm sure I'm dead and buried in this dear old place is heaven.
I do not want you taking money from those kids anymore.
It was totally Julia's idea.
Oh, what? That makes it okay? You can't think for yourself?
Hey, you playing three-card Monte with those kids again?
Yeah,
How much you take from them?
$12.
It's not bad.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Frankie.
He's washing dishes and baby clothes. He's so ambitious, even so. But don't forget, folks.
Her latest film is entitled I Am Sam. I'm pleased to welcome Michelle Pfeiffer here for the first time. Welcome.
Thank you.
It took me a while. I'm glad to see you.
I'm happy to be here.
Tell me about this movie.
Well, it's this. Sean Penn plays a mentally challenged single parent fighting for custody of his soon-to-be 8-year-old daughter, and I become his lawyer.
This is an extraordinary sort of dynamic here for him, especially. You know, I mean, you're playing an adult woman who's a lawyer. He's playing someone who's
Type A person. Not that much of a stretch for me.
no, exactly. Can we go there for a moment?
Maybe a little softer version. Hopefully.
Type A is not a very big stretch for you.
No, not really.
Why is that? Type A. Why is Michelle a Type A person?
I don't know. Bad potty training. I don't know. It probably has something to do with my relationship with my father.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Well, he was Type A.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like him, so.
Yeah. So
here I am.
You mean he was frenetic? He wanted to do everything.
Perfect.
He wanted to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want something done right the first time, you got to do it yourself.
Damn it! I would have liked your father.
That was my dad. Trust everybody, but cut the cards, Shell.
We could like him.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
No, he died 3 years ago.
Yeah, but were you close?
Yes, we had a very tempestuous relationship.
Yeah.
We fought like crazy, but we as much as we despised each other at times, that's how deep our love ran as well.
Frequently is that way.
Yeah.
And he probably had some really wonderful ideas of his own about what you should do with your career.
Not really.
No?
He was frustrated with me a lot when I was younger because I was losing interest in things quickly, and I'd get very excited about something, and then. But so it makes sense that I would become an actor because you know, you're allowed to be like that. And
you're allowed to be all kinds of things.
Well, you're allowed to immerse yourself into something, and into an interest, into a subject matter, and then and completely, and then move on to something else.
Is that what you like about it?
I like that I'm never bored. I like that it's always a challenge. I'm always a little bit scared. It keeps me interested. Yeah.
Scared meaning whether you can do it?
Mm-hmm. Challenge. Well, you know, I do.
Why would you be scared? I mean, you have a track record now, and you've done enough different things with enough people who would have told you if you weren't really good.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be scared if I did the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But I don't like to do that. So I think that occasionally I might rest on my laurels a bit, but you know, I like a new challenge. I like, you know, this scared me a lot.
This movie?
Yeah.
Even though you just acknowledged that it wasn't a stretch.
Well, it actually was. I was making a joke.
Because
hopefully I'm a kinder version of Rita. But I mean, I understand, you know, certain elements. I understand, you know, her obsessiveness, and I mean, I can be slightly compulsive, and she's, you know, utterly compulsive, and but I, you know, she's so vicious in the beginning and cold, and I'm always, and I've been trained to, whenever you're playing a bad guy, that you know, always find the humanity.
Yeah, look for the redeeming
you don't play
point.
a bad guy, and so I was always trying to soften the edges with this character. And
what did you find in her that is her vulnerability and her humanity?
Well, she's an emotional wreck, and you know, she's emotionally disabled. She's maternally challenged, to say the least.
Yes.
And you know, I think that drive is really, you know, based in if I stop spinning for a minute, I'll realize just how fragile I am, and how her whole life is really a house of cards.
She, with all the personality traits that you just suggested, decides to take this case.
Well,
pro bono.
Yes, but only to save face, only because she's lied and she gets caught.
Roll tape. Here it is.
My lawyer?
Yeah, Sam,
Golly, because I thought maybe I must have misunderstood you.
I told you that when we first met.
You said you would be my lawyer?
Yes. Sam,
You're my lawyer! You're my lawyer!
Yeah, that's right, I'm your lawyer.
Okay, and I can pay you per hour.
No.
On the hour.
How often do you watch?
Do I what?
Do you watch what's the word? You know, do you watch it when the movie's being shot? Do you
dailies.
Rushes. Yes, help me out here. I'm movie
Sounds
challenge.
like.
Sounds
Yes,
like
you're movie challenge.
Sounds like sitting in a room watching something on a screen.
I sometimes do and I sometimes don't. I do in the beginning to see what kind of movie I'm in.
What kind of movie I'm in?
Well, yeah, because depending on.
You mean it might have been a tragedy, but you found out it was a comedy?
You know, you don't want to be in a different movie than everyone else,
Yes,
and you want to sort of know what the director is doing, what the other actors are doing.
That would really be a problem.
Because I've been surprised before.
You thought you were making a comedy, and it wasn't at all.
That's not a good thing. So, so I do, and sometimes if you're unsure of levels of the character, how far to push things, you know, and so you can sort of get. And then once I feel as though I'm clear, which is usually a few weeks into shooting, I stop.
You stop going.
Unless there's something I'm worried about.
How do you nail a character?
Well, I don't always, but. You
mean you finished a movie and thought, you know, I never really got that character?
Yeah.
What would
I'm
be
not
the
gonna
best
tell.
example of that? Come on, just give me one small example.
I'm not going to tell you.
Give me the character's name, and I'll try to figure it out later.
Rose.
Which one was that?
Come on.
I don't know. I can't remember. It was?
It was 1,000 Acres, and it
Really?
was something. Yeah, and it was a project that I was, you know, deeply passionate about,
Right.
and a novel I loved, and I don't feel that I did.
Did you feel that?
And I blame it all on. No, I'm kidding.
You'd probably blame it all on yourself.
I do ultimately, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you then?
Yeah.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
In other words, you thought I wasn't getting this.
I'm, you know. Yeah.
You're
I carry the
you're
world.
Your own,
Yeah.
You're your own worst
Yeah.
critic, right? You're tougher on yourself than anybody is on
Yes.
you, by far.
Except my dad, maybe.
Except you did. Well, a fellow type A. The idea of preparing for this. I mean, tell me how you nail a character when you do get it.
Well, usually when I read something, it's something I respond to. I hear the character. I hear the rhythms. It's like music.
From the script.
Yes, I hear the dialect. I hear the and I can see it. But it's more, yeah. It's kind of in a way, I guess, the way it's more visionary and sort of working toward that, whatever I have up here in my head, and then it's sort of working around it and finding the pieces and all of that. And this one, though, however, it wasn't like that. I didn't
have to.
No, I just didn't. I didn't quite know, how to approach it initially. It took some feeling it out, and I took a lot of encouragement from Jesse in the beginning.
Really?
For me to kind of, push the envelope, and then toward the end, of course, she was, asking me to pull it back a few notches because I was out of control. But usually, that's my process.
You are wonderful. You are. You know why? Because you were so honest and so. You are so.
You see, that's why I shouldn't do interviews.
No, it's why you should. That's why you're intuitive about yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am. Yeah.
This film was a long time making. She was trying to get this made for 5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When did you get connected to it?
Shortly before we started shooting.
Really?
Yeah. I think a few months before we started shooting.
Yeah. It's an amazing story of her own passion for it.
I know. Her perseverance, and I mean, to the bitter end, she's just remarkable person.
I sometimes think people that have something like that, I mean, I don't know whether they are, in fact, whether that is a gift or, in fact, a curse.
It's both.
It's both.
Truly, yeah. But it's more of a gift, I mean.
Do you feel like that about any part or any movie you want to make or anything other than family? Obsessive.
I think I was more obsessive about my work earlier on. I'm too tired now to be obsessive. I mean,
Would you like some fluffy questions? I have some fluffy ones back here.
Being a parent is really exhausting. I do think a lot of my passion has been
subsided,
been diverted. No, it's just been diverted.
To the children.
To the children, and I think that even though there were elements of producing I really liked, I don't have my production company anymore, but I had it for a long time, and I liked the creative parts of that, but the business side of it really drained my energy, and I felt ultimately diminished my passion, and for the last few years since the company's been dissolved, I've had this renewed excitement and enthusiasm for acting again, and it's not that it ever went away. I just felt I was never really refueled in a way, So I'm having a great time. I've been having the best time just being an actor.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things in your life, you're in a good place in your life. because of the kids, because of David and the marriage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
that stuff.
all that stuff that's pretty important. You know,
Yeah,
you're not sort of wishing for something; it's
Right.
there, and you can focus on what it is that.
And I mean, I feel so blessed, and I know, you know, I mean, if you know, I think we all realize recently how quickly things can change, and so yeah, things are good.
Do you see a lot of things you want to do? And so it's a matter of sort of things that you're enthusiastic about, but you only have time to do one of three? Or do you find yourself, when you find something that so touches your integrity, your sense of exploration, your sense of loving a character, that you can't wait to do it? You know, how many good roles are there, I guess, is a shorthand way of saying that?
Not enough.
Not enough.
But they're out there, and I am not complaining. I've again been really blessed and really lucky with the choices that I've been given, and I mean I couldn't have asked for a better career.
That's true. You would have said yes to all those you said yes to, or 90% of them?
I would have not said yes to a few, but that's a pretty good, you know. And even the ones that might have been disappointing in the end, I think I said yes to them for the right reasons, and I think that it's the thing that fuels you. You know, making movies, it's pretty exhausting, and you really only have control of your performance, and then even then, in the end, it's in the editing room, and you're sort of, you know, at the mercy of other people. So, but if your intentions are right and kind of true, and you're sort of, you know, I think that it just keeps you going, and it refuels you every day, and ultimately in the end, even if it's, you know, disappointing, you always own that you did it for the right reasons.
I agree, and there's something about the experience too. I mean, what you want to in the end say, and this doesn't have to be about roles for a major actor, what you want to be able to say is that the experience was worth doing. I mean, there was something valuable about having done it.
Right.
You know, it might not have been, in hindsight, right for me, but there's something. At least I came away with something.
Right.
Yeah. Take a look at this. This is where Sam, Sean in this case, wants to take Rita, Michelle, to lunch.
Kyle, do you think what they think? Sam can't order food, or Sam can't pay a check, Sam can't take care of Lucy?
It doesn't matter what I think. It matters that we win.
It matters what you think.
It doesn't matter to them what I think.
It matters to me.
Great writing, as you said while we were watching this.
Good writing.
Yeah. Man, that makes all the difference.
All the difference in the world. It makes my job like butter. Yeah.
When you can look at a script and say, wow, I want to say these words.
I mean, sometimes I actually think it's the difference between good acting and bad acting is the writing. I sometimes think that.
Yeah. What do you like about this movie?
Oh, it's very unusual. It's unique, and it's inspired.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, it's for people who've seen these scenes, it's the dynamic of the relationship makes it also appealing.
There's so many things, I mean, that make this movie appealing, and yeah, I mean, this is sort of one of the oddest couples you'll ever see is Rita and Sam.
Yeah,
and the friendship and the bond that develops between them.
Yeah. Do you, because you were playing opposite the character that Sam plays, do you go out and say, you know, what do I feel inside about the issue of mentally challenged, whatever the term is? You know?
Mentally challenged, that is the term.
What do you go out? Do you go out and say, how do I feel about this? I mean, how do I get my hands around this in terms of that whole notion?
Well, I became aware of a lot of prejudices that I had that I didn't realize I had, and fears. And I realized that as children, the only thing well, of our generation, my generation, you know, the only thing that was said to me about mentally challenged people was don't stare. So many men, and I think many children basically, it just was something that wasn't dealt with, you know, they were sort of hidden, and parents were really encouraged to put children away in institutions. And it really has only been recently that, you know, we've sort of taken a new look at what they're capable of. And but I realized that you know, I hated to admit it, but that I, like other people, was afraid of something that was different than me, and hence I didn't understand it, and had never really taken the opportunity to investigate it at all, because it scared me. And I, by the end of this film, would just, you know, embrace them with abandon, you know, and it was such a gift to me, and in that way I really felt that I, Michelle, had gotten so much more out of the movie than whatever my contribution to the film was.
When you finished this film, anything you wanted to do differently?
No.
No, you liked it. When you saw it, you said they got it.
I mean,
the editor got it.
There are always moments.
Little scenes.
Well, no. There's always something I would like to tweak.
What would you like to tweak in this?
I'm not going to say. I've shared enough with you.
Yes,
I've already been way too honest.
We have just begun.
I told you about Rose.
That came under your production company, as I remember, didn't it?
It did.
I thought so. So here you are in your life now, having just come off a movie that you learned a lot from about yourself, and there was a gift because you appreciated something that was not there, understood something perhaps in a new way. You had a great experience with a terrific actor you admired a lot. The production company shut down, so you can focus on acting. So what do you expect in the future? What do you want to? Where are you?
I just want to keep acting, and you know, obviously, you know, spending time with the family, and I think just more of the same, really, for now. You know, I might do other things later on, and it doesn't mean I won't produce again. I just don't want to have a company.
No, how about direct?
I might, but it's so utterly consuming.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of not willing to do that right now. And given my personality, if I'm not willing to do that, it would make me crazy, because I'm sort of an all-or-nothing kind of gal.
Yeah. Now, let me just do this one moment I want to know. Is David exactly the opposite? David Kelly exactly the opposite from you? I mean, he's just like you?
You say that with such dismay.
No, could there be two people like this in the same room?
We're kind of similar, and
really?
A lot. I mean, he's actually more even-keeled than I am.
Well, yeah.
And
even keel
I have to check for a pulse every now and then. But
David, are you alive or not?
But you know, I mean, the story I tell, it's old news. But you know, when we started dating, his agent said to him, "Well, who talks?" You know, it's sort of a. You know,
is it still that way?
Kind of, yeah. No, I mean, we have our chatty moments, but I mean, we're both
but they're rare.
We're both innately sort of quiet and uncommunicative, probably.
Really?
Yeah, a bit, probably. But fortunately, we are really compatible.
Yeah.
And
there's magic.
And there's magic, yeah. And we're so alike in so many ways.
Like?
We have very similar work ethics, and we
perfectionist.
Perfectionist, and we love our work.
Yeah.
We truly, truly get a lot out of it, and are driven, but at the same time prioritize our family and constantly seek balance And I think we're very similar in kind of our morality. We're both sort of traditional and I would say rather conservative.
Politically or in terms
not
of
politically,
values?
in terms of values, yeah.
Sense of family, sense of moral structure, sense of...
Right. Values that we instill in the kids and what we expect from each other and the way you treat people. And
in your career, one of the things that's so apparent is you have had a chance to work with some terrific people. You know, I assume you had something to do with that. Well, in other words, I mean by that you get an offer, but you can pick roles. And you just said the primacy of script was clear, but you can also pick roles because you're operating with people that you may learn something from. Actors, directors.
Yeah, I actually, I think early on I sort of looked to that experience in terms of it being a learning experience more so when I was younger. But now it's really, if I admire someone's work and I want to be a part of their creation, I've always admired Sean's work, and I'm a huge fan of Bob Zemeckis, and I'm a huge fan of Tim Burton, and when I did What Lies Beneath, I had never done that kind of film before. I had never sought out that genre of film, and it was very unexpected, and I did learn a lot in the process. And I felt completely inept in the beginning because it was so technical, and which I was really trying to embrace. And that was, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. But I really, really loved it. I found it very challenging.
Was that what you liked about it? In fact, it was new and different, and therefore it was a challenge?
I think it was Zemeckis, too, though. Yeah. I mean, I know that it was him. I really liked him as a person. I just, he has a great spirit. And he still has this very kind of boyish enthusiasm about filmmaking, and he gets very excited about things, and he just doesn't have a huge ego, and it was really, I don't know, it was fun.
Yeah. Are you as tough on yourself and on others as you were 10 years ago?
No, I'm better.
You've mellowed or something?
I'm better.
You're better.
I'm better.
Michelle is better. That's good to hear. So those people who said Michelle is tough, you would say, yeah, I'm tough, but not as much as I used to be.
But in some ways, I might be. I think years ago, I was really, really tough on myself, and not so tough on other people.
And today, you're tough on other people, not so tough on yourself.
And I think that's a good balance.
I do
don't
too.
You?
It's only fair to get to a point where you're okay. It's those that have to, they have to meet a certain standard.
Right.
Well, this is a good place to be in life.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You are great. You really are.
Thank you.
I mean, I love your honesty and candor and fun.
Thanks.
Thank you. This movie is called I Am Sam with Sean Penn and Michelle Pfeiffer. Opens in New York and Los Angeles on December 28th. 3 days after Christmas. It opens nationally on January 11th. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Well, if you look closely, you'll see that director Alan Parker and actor Mickey Rourke have some scars from their recent battles. Before we get to Alan Parker's battles with ratings, Mickey, you have been filming all night, I guess, and have the hands to prove it. What's going on there?
We're making a movie.
This is tough work.
Yeah.
I think some of us think that you're in an insulated studio all the time with makeup people hovering about. Not so here.
No.
Is this one of the roughest shoots that you've had, according to your hands, at least?
No, it was just one scene, and it took all night long. We used a Steadicam, and I had a wart here, and it fell off, and that was...
Good heavens.
Yeah.
Tight shot on wart. No, we won't do that. Now let's see in what kind of condition Alan Parker is in, because of course,
I'm straight.
As we speak, you have lost the appeal on the X rating.
Ooh.
So where does Angel Heart go from here? What's going on?
Well, it was, you know, I think most people agree that it was ridiculous to give it an X in the first place, really. I mean, those X normally goes to exploitation pictures, and this obviously isn't. We knew it was strong film, we knew it was powerful, and we knew it would have an R, and that's what it should get. So now it's, you know, tap dance between everybody, between what it is exactly that does offend them.
Now, where is the real power being wielded here? Now, there's nothing illegal about an X rating, but it is tantamount to a kiss of death.
Well, I wouldn't say kiss of death. I think kiss of death's the wrong word.
In terms of getting it shown, that is, distributed.
Yeah, well, what it amounts to is censorship. Actually, I am contracted to make an R picture. The distributors will only put out an R picture. You can only advertise an R picture. Certain theatres will only show an R picture. So we're not stupid enough. We didn't put all that work in it. I've been on it for 2 years. So you want the picture to be shown. And the fact that they give it an X is actually what they're saying is they disagree with certain aspects of the movie. What it is, I don't know. We hope it's one particular love scene. Sex is always a problem with censors.
But it might not be. I mean, this might be a kind of a cinematic roulette here, trying to figure out.
It might well be, you know. It's like saying, it's like if you're performing an operation, you put somebody on the operating table, we could be chopping away forever before we find out what it is they actually dislike. We'd end up with 1 foot, you know.
I'm going to ask Mickey along these lines, if when a scene is cut, Mickey, for whatever reason, that maybe contains work you were personally very proud of.
Right.
Does it hurt a little bit like it might hurt Alan for other reasons?
Depends what's cut.
In this case, let's see if anything from that particular scene were cut. Would that bother you over much, one way or the other?
Well, I can't let it bother me too much because it happens all the time and you got to get used to it. But in this particular case, Alan has been editing the movie for a long time, and so the cuts that he made when I saw the film, I was very pleased with. As far as with the 6 people, who these 6 people are that gave us the X rating, we don't know what it is that's offending them. We don't know if it's the... It can't be the nudity, because what we have in this film you've pretty much seen before, you know, man and woman, you know, and
I know.
There's a little bit of blood that falls and a little rain, and I'm a white man and she's a black girl, so you know, I don't know if it's that, you know.
There's other things that we can't reveal yet.
So nobody quite. But Alan is you know, unique in this business. He's a very powerful filmmaker, very, you know, he really gets that thing across. And so, you know, when they're seeing a film with all these things happening, the way he's put it together, that can be disturbing too. You know, the whole thing with the what's it, the voodoo? What do they call it? The occult stuff. You know, so you don't really know what's bothering these people. I mean, we've seen movies that have more nudity and stuff like that than this particular film. I mean,
you know, this might be a testament to the intensity of this picture as much as anything.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah. You suppose?
Well,
in fact, could you have made this film 25, 30 years ago during the so-called studio period in Hollywood? Well, I mean, obviously not, but I mean, would you have been comfortable working within a regime even more?
No, I mean, we've all fought for our creative freedom to be able to do it the way that we want to do it, and we've won in certain respects. Only to find actually that the studio regime as such has been replaced by these 6 anonymous people who are not even in part of the movies. In the darkened room saying this is an X, that's an R, this is PG or whatever. Probably I wouldn't have been able to do it that way, no. But I mean, we have a self-imposed discipline in everything that we do. And,
all right, now I hope I don't think I'm giving away anything by saying I have not seen a thriller like this since Frankenheimer's Seconds, and I mean that to be a compliment. There is a November in your soul, I suspect. That was said about Melville. Can we say it about Alan Parker?
Maybe. I don't know. If I understood what it meant, you could say it.
Well, let's try and find out what that might mean. A darker side that maybe allows its self-expression on film, if nowhere else.
Yeah, that's true. But you don't know. I mean, you know, as an artist, and I think that potentially that's what we are. You do the work as best you can do it, and some things of you come out on the screen without sometimes you knowing it. You know?
And when you look at an actor like Mickey Rourke, similarly, there must be something you see there that catches that darker edge, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I dislike intensely the sort of, you know, the chewing gum cosmetic movie stars in some of the films that you see today, and he's not that. He has an edge on reality, and in the end, it's all based on acting as opposed on cosmetic image, and we hope is what the character is in the film.
And Mickey, as we sit here talking about things like this, I guess I would second guess you by saying it makes you uncomfortable. As if we're analyzing something you would maybe rather not try and analyze.
No, I've been down this road before, and it's like a hopeless issue, really. You know, I mean, you got, what are we going to do? We got the 6 people. They already voted us down twice, right? And gave us an X rating for a movie that I mean, I think that the 6 people should come forth and give their reasons and their fucking names and tell us why they gave us an X rating, you know? I mean, really.
Isn't it odd?
Let's do that. What are we playing games for, right?
And isn't it ironic that the films that do play in the exploitation houses, the so-called XXX, are not films that have ever been submitted to a rating anywhere? They don't carry an official rating of any kind.
No, there's an enormous amount of hypocrisy that's going on, yeah. I mean, this is a strong and powerful film and should have an R.
I take it in conclusion, then, that you don't mind, in some ways, this film being a kind of a battleground. Some good things might come of it, you know.
It's everything you do that has any kind of worth is a battleground. It's very easy to do the kind of movies that are being made right now, but if you want to do something that's special and different, and I hope that an audience will respond to that, it's always hard. It's always been a battleground, and it won't be any different, not forevermore. All the time he's making movies, and all the time that I'm making movies.
There you go. Maybe a bit scarred, but stalwart nonetheless. Pleasure to meet you, Alan Parker. Mickey Rourke. In Angel Heart, Lisa Bonet portrays a character called Epiphany. Now, that's a very interesting name, and it means revelation. You represent a revelation, and I guess we can't spill too many beans, but can you tell us maybe a little bit about the sort of darker revelation that you represent? I know it's like walking on tiptoe, not to spill too much of the plot.
Well, I'll just give you a basic breakdown of my character. Epiphany is a 17-year-old young woman. She's very interesting to play. She's very intelligent, but not learned, just very, I think, perceptive and very wise. She's got a very old soul. And she has a 3-year-old son, and she works in the fields by day.
And you have an interesting nightlife.
Right.
All of us have extracurricular activities that are fun. But, I mean, there you are holding a chicken up in the air with blood dripping down. Was that kind of somebody have to talk you into that one?
No, it was, of course, the first time I held the chicken, as soon as it fleshed its wings, I was like, no, get it away. But after a while, I became obsessed with it. Now
yes.
I can't live without my chickens.
And then that clapperboard comes down, and it's 666 written on the slate.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Now, that's no publicity hype. That really happened.
Yeah.
Okay, now with this character of Epiphany, you bring to the screen a role that will surprise and I think delight in its own way. A lot of people who've only seen you on The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
You have enough of a family on The Cosby Show that I'm wondering if you have already heard from them about this picture, or if you will hear from them in the near future, and what might they ask you about?
No, no one has seen it, but of course they've heard all the controversy about it. So they're very kind and they're very supportive, and there's a new joke about it every day, you know.
On the set?
Yeah, Bill has something to say about it every day.
Is it enough of a family that you do feel a sort of responsibility to them in whatever you do away from that set?
Well, it's not even that I felt responsible, but it's just that I do work with these people, and if they were going to be upset with me, I didn't want to come to work every day, you know, with a bad feeling in the air. You know, that's not fun, and I do enjoy my work, and I do have a tremendous amount of respect for the show. But on the other hand, you know, as soon as I heard that the film got an X rating, I did feel a bit of a responsibility to them, because I had gone to Bill and, you know, said, this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'd like your permission or your consent, and he had given it to me, and then it comes out with an X rating before he had gotten a chance to see it, you know. So but I was a little concerned, and I did go to him again and say, this is what's going on, and he said, you know, don't worry about it.
The fact that you went to him at all is very significant, though. You respect him that much.
A tremendous amount, yes.
Now, in this picture, in the big scene, as we can call it, I guess, Director Alan Parker has written that you were more comfortable about the nude scene than Mickey Rourke was. Where do you bring that kind of poise? I think that's the best word. Where does that come from in this scene?
I did a lot of like self-inquiry and a lot of meditation, and I just really was quite comfortable with Epiphany. So it was just a different space, you know, of time.
As far as the rest of it goes, too, you alluded to this earlier, you have kind of an almost detached, worldly wise look in your eyes during some of your dialogue scenes with Mickey. Are you kind of like that? Just in talking with you briefly here, you do seem very quiet and sort of self-contained. Is that the real Lisa Bonet, as they say?
Perhaps. Sometimes, you know.
Or are you a person who surprises yourself sometimes?
This is quite surprising to me, being here, being interviewed. You know, it's kind of. I got up today and I was getting ready to come down, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
Well, it is kind of unreal, isn't it?
It's bizarre.
As you look out, there's people looking right at you. You're surrounded by lights. For some reason, there's a white cloth behind your head.
Right.
Why is that there?
I don't know. I'm doing exactly what you're doing. I don't know what anything else is.
And as all of the questions are fired at you, do you find yourself saying things in response that, again, surprise you?
Well, after a while, you kind of, I don't know, you just become numb. Not like, you know, just,
I know.
You just answer the questions, and I am pretty detached. I mean, it's not like I'm putting a great deal of energy in answering a lot of these questions. I'm just kind of dispersing it. Like.
I'm going to ask the camera if we can get a tight shot of the pouch around your neck. Could you tell us a little bit about that? I can't resist. This is fascinating.
It's it's just like a little amulet bag.
Are there some mandragora roots in there?
No, no, no. They're just some things that are very close to me. Some pictures.
Okay. What else is very close to you these days? The TV show, this movie coming out. Your career, it would seem, is really heading skyward now.
Yeah, it's.
Do you have to kind of keep a grip on yourself a little bit, or are you just going to enjoy this while you can?
Well, no. I mean, I think that it's really important for me to keep a grip on myself, as you say, and just really stay grounded. And I think I have a good sense of what I want to do, and where I want to go, and who I am.
In that regard, is there a person in your life that is around and you can turn to that helps you keep that kind of center?
Yeah, actually, there are probably two. There's one. I have a guru who I go see who keeps me pretty intact. And then there's Felicia Rashad, who plays the mother on our show, who is also a disciple of Guru Mai's. And it's really good to be able to share this love with her, because I do see her, and she is quite an even-minded person. She has such a steady wisdom, and to look at her is like being shot with, you know, this incredible blue light. So she's probably one person I look up to very much.
A mysterious but wonderful epiphany indeed.
Oh, thank
Lisa
you.
Bonet, nice to meet you.
Thank you.